Guys, important news has been announced. There is no more pay-per-views in the UFC. But what does that actually mean? Because, we all know fighters get a purse from the pay-per-views per pay-per-view, etc., etc. So what does that actually mean? I don't know. I don't know if any of you guys know. If you do know, comment in the comments. But as most of you guys would have seen this morning, Dana White announced that the UFC has landed a $7.7 billion broadcasting deal with, I believe is CBS. Yeah, Paramount and CBS. So what does that actually mean? What does that actually mean? I wonder. Obviously, I watch my UFC on TNT Sports, so I'm guessing it will probably be the same. I'll probably still be able to watch it through the same sort of platform. I hope so. Because if I have to do some new sign up, I'm not doing all of that, bro. I will stick to my streams. Yep. I will stick to my streams. Even though I don't have to use them. But if they do us UK fans dirty and I have to make a whole nother subscription, and I'm not going to get too much into detail how I watch my UFC, but I use TNT Sports in it. That's all I'm going to say. But anyways, we have an article here. We'll quickly read through the article. Obviously, it says, Dana White lands historic $7.7 billion UFC broadcast deal and makes a major change for the fans by ditching old model. Paramount and CBS will be the new home for all UFC events in the United States in 2026. The UFC CEO Dana White revealed on Monday that he landed a 7-year deal with Paramount at an average of $1.1 billion per year for the US rights to his promotion. According to the UFC press release, all numbered events and fight nights will stream live on Paramount Plus. The streaming service will exclusively distribute 13 marquee numbered events and 30 fight nights from 2026, meaning the UFC will no longer operate under a pay-per-view model. The historic deal for Paramount and CBS fans is incredible for UFC fans and our athletes, White said. For the first time ever, fans in the US will have access to all UFC content without a pay-per-view model, making it more affordable and accessible to view the greatest fights on a massive platform. This still puts UFC amongst the biggest sports in the world. The exposure provided by the Paramount and CBS network under this new structure is a huge win for our athletes and anyone who watches and loves this sport. Nothing has changed for UK fans and they can still access UFC through TNT Sports. We thank God. We thank, guys, you see, just before I started reading this, that's what I was saying. I hope it doesn't change for UK fans. And we thank God, man, because we still get to watch UFC. I still get to use my TNT Sports. Yeah. Hey, listen, nobody asked me why I'm so excited. Because anyone that's close to me will know why I'm so excited. Because, yes, I use TNT Sports. Well, Discovery Plus, TNT Sports, their partnership. And, yeah, but don't worry, guys. Just know I have a little, I can't talk too much. But we thank God, man. But anyways, the UFC deal, however, comes as a great surprise to American fans, and not only because the pay-per-view model will no longer exist from 2026. UFC fans would have previously had to pay extra for the marquee number events, just like they will have to do for Dricus du Plessis versus Khamzat Chimaev at UFC 319 this Saturday. From January the 1st, 2026, fans in America will now just need access to Paramount Plus, where plans start at $7.99 per month to watch every UFC event. Members of the MMA world were also shocked to learn that Paramount and CBS had landed exclusive rights. Okay, it's a 7-year deal. Obviously, here it just maps out, the little details that we need to know. But what I want to know, I don't really care about all of this. But what I want to know, guys, is how does this affect fighters? Because like I said in the beginning of the video, fighters used to get a percentage of the pay-per-view. So what does that actually mean? And from the looks of things now, the UFC are going to be making even more money. So listen, I'm going to go back to Francis Ngannou fallout with Dana White and the UFC. And to be completely honest with you guys, what Francis Ngannou wanted from the UFC, it wasn't just to benefit him, it was to benefit all of the fighters. And I'm going to be honest, I think more fighters need to come out and start, not necessarily demanding more, but asking for more. Like there needs to be, I don't know if there's a fighters union or something like that, because, with every other job you have, there's a union you can go to and you can, express your anger and your frustrations with them, and they'll take on the case from there. I think that's one of the things Francis Ngannou essentially wanted. He wanted a fighters union, which makes sense. And, looking back, I don't think he was asking for too much. Even in terms of pay, I don't think he was asking for too much, because what the UFC actually makes is crazy. And then you've got fighters that are still, like, look at Demetrius Johnson when he was fighting in the UFC. He still had to work. He was getting paid $14,000 a championship fight. Come on, man. That's crazy. I'm not going to lie to you guys. That's crazy. So my question is, how does this affect the fighters at the UFC? And you know what? I'm in a group chat. Obviously, those of you that know, a couple months ago, I appeared on a stream with the Combat Kings. And I'm in a group chat with them and some other guys as well. And someone put it in the group chat, and someone also said, which is true, there must be something has to give for the UFC to have been able to do this deal. Whether that means fighters are going to get paid less, or they no longer get pay-per-view points, or something. Something would have had to give for them to have had... something would have had to give for them to be able to give numbered events to fans for free. Something is... I don't know what it is. I don't know, maybe fighters are going to get paid even less now. I don't know. But something would have had to give. And it's true. I completely agree with that, because, we know what the UFC is like. Yeah? They make us think, that we're getting a special deal, but really and truly we're not. The only good thing about it is that I've never paid for a pay-per-view except for McGregor versus Dustin Poirier 3, and I fell asleep. Didn't even get to watch that one. And there was one other one I paid for, and I think I fell asleep for that one as well. When I first started watching UFC, I used to struggle to stay awake. Now I'm just used to it. But now fans don't have to pay. Sometimes the pay-per-views can be 30 quid. I think in America it's like $80, something crazy like that. So, luckily the American fans don't have to deal with that anymore. Nothing really changes for us in the UK, except that, there was the odd pay-per-view that we would have to pay for, but generally speaking, we would still be able to watch it on Discovery Plus, TNT Sports, as long as you pay your subscription for that streaming service. So, there's pros and cons to this new deal being signed. I wonder what's going to change. I wonder if production will be better, because before, sometimes you'll be watching the UFC and even the audio, everything was just shit, even like the quality. So we'll see, man. Does this actually change things for the UFC in terms of production? I know in terms of fighters' pay, something will have changed, and yeah, I'm intrigued to see what that is. But anyways, guys, like and subscribe. It's Big M's, man. I'll see you guys again tomorrow, man.